Yeah. from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics. From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics. From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics. From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics. From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AMD Ryzen and Windows 11 presents the Esports Club Challenger Series, powered by Crucial and our broadcast partner Loco. Here with me as myself, Bob Augusta, as we are here with Qualifiers 2 of this series. We have our 4 teams right here, right now, to contest and to see who will proceed into the next phase. And I am very much excited to see what's going to happen next, folks. Talk about the entire series itself. We had so many teams competing to get the spot for the LAN event, or should I say more than enough, for the group stages. We already have our 4 invited teams, and now we're just waiting for the next 2 seats which are still opened up for our hands. So, talk about the entire schedule itself, folks. We have our 2 important matches. These 2 important matches will determine who will proceed into the next phase out. And I gotta say, this will be an amazing one. This will be an amazing matchup, that is for sure. As we take a look at the schedule itself, we already had our first qualifiers, we already had our 2 teams, and now we're just waiting for the other 2 teams in the second qualifiers itself. The winners for these will have a chance to have a spot at the group stages. That's exactly where we have our 3 invited teams and plus our 4 qualifiers teams, which will contest, or should I say, compete in this tournament. Let's not forget about one wildcard team, which will happen. Surprise, surprise. We'll never know who's it going to be. But I gotta say, the first match itself, Team Orgless versus Medal Esports. This matchup will be a doozy one, that is for sure, folks. And let's not forget, in the group stages, only top 4 teams from the group stage will have a chance to play at the LANs, which will happen in Bangalore itself. Now, talk about the prize pool itself, folks. A total of 15 lakh rupees. The first spot will have a total of 7.5 lakhs. The second position will have a total of 4 lakhs. Last but not least, third place, 2,50,000 rupees. The MVP for the series will also receive a bonus of 1 lakh rupees. So, if you give a greatest performance in this tournament, well, we'll be able to see that. That is for sure. But for now, talking about the entire match itself, folks, it's Orgless versus Medal Esports. And if you guys are wondering, yes, I'm currently solo casting. Yes, I'm actually a bit nervous, but also I'm very fortunate to get a chance to cast for Valorant. So talk about today's matchup itself, folks. We're going to see Team Orgless go up against Team Medal Esports, and then we have our second matchup. It's Reckoning Esports who will go up against their opposition team, which will happen in the next. Which will happen in the next stream, that is, of course. But first, let us put our main focus on these 2 teams, Orgless versus Medal Esports. These guys have come way long, all the way from the second qualifiers. They had to battle it out with so many teams. This was a single limbs, and now they are finally here at the final spot. They're almost at the checkpoint. The main problem is there's 2 teams who are competing on that checkpoint, but unfortunately, only one will be having the spot. I mean, there's only one seat, of course. We won't have more than 2 to 3 seats. I mean, you still have 2 seats when it comes to matches wise, but all in all, this is it. This is it for all of these 4 teams, and now we just have to wait it out and see who will succeed. Now, talking about the entire matches itself, we saw some amazing matchups. We saw some greatest upsets, especially the way how we saw from Reckoning Esports' match in the previous round. We did get to see them defeat their opposition team. It was really a sight to see. There was some, there were some fun moments. Talk about Bad Love's performance too, but hopefully this time they are prepped and ready, and whatever competitions that they have, they'll be able to give it the best shot that they've got. And I gotta say, this Challenger Series will be a huge one. And boy, oh boy, will it be a tough one for these 4 teams, particularly because they are fighting for it. They are fighting for the spot, and only 2 has the chance to succeed. And man, oh man, will it be a doozy one. But for now, folks, let us focus on the match between Team Orgless versus Medal Esports. And now, man, I'm currently just waiting for the match to happen. I'm just very excited and also a bit curious to know what kind of what amazing plays or performance might come in from their ends too. So really great. I mean, talk about the entire experience that I've seen on the Valorant series. There are so many great players, there's so many great teams. Even more so, there are so many great memories or moments that we did get to see most a lot in the esports club itself. And talk about all of the informations, folks. If you want to know the information regarding any tournament issues, or if you want to join in the land event which will conduct in Bengaluru, all you got to do is just register now. It's free of cost. Register now for a total of 3 days of action which will happen in TEC Arena. All you got to do is just check out the link in the description below, head on in towards the esports club, register for the tournament, and I really can't wait to see you guys coming in Bangalore, which will happen on August 12th, 13th, and 14th. All in all, for now, I gotta say, it's a huge thing for the entire SA region, especially talking about Challenger Series itself. But for now, folks, I believe we just have to wait for some time, see whether if the team on the side of Orgless and Metal Esports are prepped and ready with their matchup, and when it does, we'll be able to head on in on the match right away. And hopefully, since we did get the map veto, we might be able to see what kind of maps do we get to expect on the ends of Orgless Esports and Metal Esports. There you go, map veto is in. And interestingly enough, it will be Bind. Bind will be the first map, which is being picked by Metal Esports, and Orgless will be on defense. Talk about the second and the decider map. The second map will be on Ascent. Orgless Esports will make a decision to hold their ground on second map. But in order to succeed, they have to succeed map number one if they have to succeed 8-2 to 0. Unless and until if things go south or things go equalized to a 1-1 map count, we will see the decider, and that decider map will be Icebox. So there's a lot of it's a lot of similar playground that we get to see in the mapito itself. Bind, Ascent, and Icebox. These three maps will help us determine whether on who will proceed into the next phase or not. And yeah, for now, folks, again, you could still get to see me that I'm actually a bit nervous, but I'll uh, I'll make sure to give you guys as best. I'll give you guys the best commentary as I'll be able to give it. That's for sure. Okay, so since we talked about map veto, we talked about price pool, we even talked about the LAN event. So which is remaining now? You could say the agent wise, right? And talk about the agents, we've seen a lot of Fade plays. Sova, apparently, when it comes to a comparison between Fade and Sova has its own fair share of nerfs, especially from the Owl drone, in which it used to tag 3 times. Now it's been reduced to 2. The shock drone, not the shock drone, I do have pauses for that. The shock dart from the Sova, which also has its own fair share of nerfs. So no wonder why we see Fade being brought up a lot, but the only main difference is the composition. So, like we saw on the match in the previous match that I've casted with CCV, we had Reckoning Esports bring up a very aggressive composition. Like, say for an example, they brought in Neon. Neon is a great agent when it comes to being aggressive most of the time, and even more so, we've seen them gain so much control so fast and so quick that it was very difficult for the opposition team to try to hold their ground. Even more so, they had a lot of problems on their economic growth. They even had problems on some certain elements that they had to fix. It was, let's just say, a difficult situation for the opposition team to go through. But all in all, we already got the end result. It was Reckoning Esports who did proceed into the next phase, and now they are here with the second matchup. All Reckoning Esports have to do is just succeed and get the spot. But I'm pretty quite sure that the opposition team will give them the best shot, that's for sure. But for now, folks, let's just talk about Orgless and Metal Esports. Now, the tension is on, and I know you guys are wondering what is happening to the match. Well, folks, if I have to give a news about it, we're just waiting for the side of team. We're just waiting for the side of Team Orgless Esports to give the confirmation, and when it is done and dusted, we'll be able to proceed right in towards the agent's pick and see what kind of maps we'll be able to head in. Talk about map bind itself. A great agent opportunities like Brimstone would work out. The Grand Skyfall, which will actually not the Grand Skyfall, the Orbital Strike. Again, apologies for that. The Orbital Strike is such a dangerous ultimate, especially used in towards the lamp side. And I guess we will see a double initiator comp. Who knows? Maybe we could see a KO or a Sky combo, double flashes. Talk about the suppression knives, which will give not only a lot of information, but also gives much more problems on certain agents like Jet. Even more so, you can even include Chamber as well, especially from his tour de force. One single suppression knife, or should I say a null command, would be more than enough to disorient or disable any utilities present on the attack as well as on the defensive side. So we've seen a lot of KO being brought up thanks to his pop flashes, his fragment, even more so the way how it combos it with other agents like chamber. Even more so, you have a good amount of sentinels where you have to decide whether if it's a good idea to bring in a chamber or bring in just killjoy instead. I can understand both killjoy and chamber is a sentinel, but both of them has its own purpose. The alarm bot, not only does it indicates any particular player, but also decreases, makes them vulnerable, which in fact the attackers, or should I say the opposition team, will be easier. It should be easier enough for them to deal a lot of damage. Whereas on the side of Chambers' trap, all it gives is just a brief amount of slow duration, and also ensures that you'll have good amount of information regarding whether if a flank would come in or not. So both has its own fair share of uses. The lockdown as well as the tour de force, obviously. Most of the time, we would see chamber we would see chamber a lot, mainly because of eco rounds. Because on eco rounds, whenever you see any player let's just say for an example, if a team did lose one particular round and now they are forced to go on an eco round, this is where chamber comes into play. With the help of his tour de force, he'll be able to at least get a kill or two. Even more so, helps his other teammates get the upgrade for the weapon. And when it comes to a place like chamber, it will, yes, of course, will have a lot of problems on the eco round. It's the amount of operators that you have on a game like Valorant. Even though if you're stuck at a very difficult spot, there is still a chance to come back and succeed. And again, I know I'm just rambling on about the entire game itself. We all know the strategies, we all know everything about it, and now we are all just wondering, why haven't we got the match yet? Well, I'm still just checking on it. Everyone's ready on the side of Metal Esports. Even the teams on the side of Orgless Esports are also ready. So yet again, we're just waiting it out, folks. We are just waiting it out. Apologies for the delay. Yeah, I know we're supposed to have a co-caster, Universe, as well. Hopefully, we might be able to have Universe back again on the caster's desk. But for now, you're just stuck with me, folks. Baba Gusta, solo casting for the Challenger Series. So, yeah, that is for sure. But for now, yep, just finding ready confirmation. Teams on Medley Esports are ready, and so does Orgless Esports. And when we get the confirmation on the admin side, we won't be able to waste any time at all and proceed with the matchup, folks. We've already got to see the map veto itself, which means the first map will be on Bind, Deciders will be on Icebox, and map number 2. Man, this will be a tough battle between these two teams. So, without any further delays, folks, we will proceed and not waste any time to the agent pick itself and get to see what kind of agents do we get to pick on the side of both teams. It's Orgless Esports being the ones on attack. Actually, Metal Esports being the one on attack, Orgless Esports on defense. And I kind of like the way how the agents have been picked on both of these sides here, folks. Chamber's been picked. We've even see KUCF bringing in the Brimstone. Like I said, Bind is a so it's more of like favorable for Brimstone's end. Not only just his kit utility, the lineups that you have, the Molotovs, even the Stim Beacon, which increases the fire rate of a Vandal. You could say that if you just use the Vandal with the Stim Beacon, it would automatically convert itself into a Phantom with just one tap headshot potential. So there is a lot. But what's more interesting is that you'd see on the side of Metal Esports bringing in Breach. Now, when it comes to Breach, those concussions, the execution power that you have on the attacker's side is so powerful. Even more so, it's interesting to see that Team Metal Esports have made a decision to bring in dual initiators, Sky and Breach. So only one controller will be there on a map like Bind. I can understand why. I mean, you could maximum block a lot of lines of sight into as the A lamp side, even more so on the A heavens. But on B, what's even more problematic is that we don't get to see Killjoy being brought up. I can understand why. The lockdown, although it's very much powerful, it always depends on what kind of team composition that you have. And turns out on both the teams, both on Metal Esports as well as Orgless Esports, they'll be making a decision to bring in the chamber. Having a total of two, anchored, or should I say, the traps that chamber has, proves, or should I say, gives a lot of chances, or it's just free information. What more can I say? Chamber has good information just by placing one of its traps, and that's the main reason why we see Chamber being brought out most of the time. But for now, folks, with the confirmation on the agents and also the buy phase coming into play, we will head on to map number 1. And let's see whether if Team Metal Esports can succeed their win on map number 1 bind, or will it be their opposition team, Orgless Esports. Ghost is in, so does the Classic. We even see the Brimstone, interestingly enough, with the Classics and light armor, which means that he'll be having a lot of utilities from his end. So, Molotovs, some Stim. I'm pretty much sure that Stim Beacon wouldn't be available in the first round itself because it's a pistol round. So, the way how defensive hold that that we are seeing right now from Orgless's end is that I've seen a lot of presence on the A side. Control will be the one holding on from the A side itself. And now here we go, folks. The push is already in, especially on the side of Metal Esports. And here comes the first frag. It's Chamber once again, the headhunter. First frag already, and that too, Raze has been eliminated. And with that early peek, you can just safely fall back. And with the information being given away, they'll make their decision to fall back. Now, their main biggest concern would be on towards an execute in the A side. And I believe that's exactly what Orgless wants to do at that moment. Information being given from the Trailblazer to see whether if there's any particular player on A lamps, they will find one, and here comes the execute. The push will happen, and yet none of them has been eliminated just yet because of that smoke. Lines of sight has been blocked, but Haiwan is playing inside it. There's still a lot of patience, waiting for an opening, and when that smoke starts to dissipate, that's where the chaos happens. Concussions at the hands of Fox. And here comes the Prowler. Gives a lot of tensions, but in the end, Fox will succeed the post-plant and also confirmation on the kill. Here comes the retaliation. Kusef and Enigma Hika to take out Fox. To equalizer, make that one as he comes back with the Headhunter. The Brimstone has been gone, which means Hika has to clutch out a 1v2. Lineups has been present. Molotovs has been used. And now, it's all tension. Ika gets one. This is huge, which means that Batman needs to be careful. Information being given from the stun, but is still not more than enough. And in the end, we will see Metal Esports succeed round number 1. And I believe Universe is here with me. Hey.
Oh, hello.
Welcome, Universe. How you doing?
Hello, Baba. Forgive me for being a little on the technical issue side, but I've had a little problem. I'm back though, and we are going to be starting off this game. Now, fortunately, I'm here to go along with you. I'm not going to have this, just be you over here. And with this, I have been excited for this matchup. The last time we saw these two teams play, I was really excited to see them and, find out who's going to be qualifying, because both of these teams have had a chance before. Metal more so than Orgless, and this time Orgless have made a better chance of what they've got in Qualifier 2. Last time they got out in the Qualifier, in the quarterfinals. This time they are fighting for that final position in the group stages. They can make their way there. And to take the first step towards it, we were going on a little bit of a push, as we can see Fox here. Going to be facing off against Hika in just about a second. And I think he's not going to challenge there. It's just a fake being sold at the moment, as the A side is actually completely empty except for Zoid holding down towards the U-Haul side, and he's going to be spotted as well. And one shorty, that's all he has, and they know that they don't need to challenge him from the short range. And out he goes and finds Tricky to kill him. Simple run for Metal, taken 2 down, found themselves advantage.
Right here.
Should be a clean, flawless round in my mind at least.
Yeah, it has to be, because it's post-plant. They've lost round number 1, which means they have to get at least some certain kills so that they'll have some fighting chance on round number 3 itself. And Tricky wants to ensure that none of those players would be alive at the moment. I mean, even though Haiwan get picked off, it's just the Classic, it'll get removed. So I believe they'll just save it off. Some gadgets will be destroyed from the chamber side. There you go. Good shot though from Ika's end, the Sheriff. be able to take out a bad man, the guiding light, but the concussion will not be able to get a headshot though from his end.
Yeah.
Turns out both of them will get picked out from the spike itself.
Yeah, that's the better thing though. Don't give away your opponents any sort of ultimate ops. Don't give them any kills. Don't feed them. And that's exactly what Hika should have done. Dies to the spike and gets an ultimate op for himself. It does not give it away to his enemy. Now the full buy will come in. Sort of a full buy. Kusa's still going to be playing on that Bulldog because of the investment that he had in the previous round. And bonus for Medal, looking like a little bit, you know, full forced, because they've got that one Vandal and 3 Spectres that I believe Tricky is going to use while running around towards the B side. They do have information here. They know that the Sky Hika is towards B this time, and Tricky is getting control of Hookah as the one person who was there gets away. Sami now on the back of sight has got trouble coming towards him. Tricky flies straight in and he will get the kill. The flying race is always one to be feared and make that a double for him. The sight gained by just one race flying in with absolutely no remorse whatsoever. And that makes it a 3v5. External damage still being given by Tricky as this guy has completely blown open Medal's buy round.
Now this is even more concerning though. Starting to lose a lot of players, but somehow Zoid will succeed with the nade. It's just a 3v4.
Where are you?
There's still a chance for the defenders to hold their ground, but their main and biggest concern has to be the chamber. Oh, this is actually good, but not quite sure though. Immediate equalizer would come back, and there you have it, the final peek out from the hands of Badman. Yeah, when it comes to that execute, I have to say, if you see a flying raise, it's always a difficult situation for any of the defenders holding the side, especially when you have a Spectre in hand, right? So
Yeah.
whenever you see those satchel charges, the only thing that they could be able to make a counter of has to be from Fade's end, because Fade can immediately, you know, even though if they use the satchel charges, you can counter it back, but it always comes down to the timing, right, Universe? So apparently I could say when it comes to timing wise, unfortunately at the hands of Orgless Esports, they couldn't get to time it right, but they have good information, so they have to utilize it as best as possible.
Yeah. At the moment though, they've lost their buy round and stay out on an eco yet again, Orgless. Medal is a team that has been a little bit more formidable than them in terms of team chemistry. Orgless did have a pretty good run so far, but this is their chance to prove that even though they were formed recently, they've got players who can bring it up to the mark of some of these established organizations, some of these established teams. Oh, one spot. Zoid is the one who is going to be taking in a lot of pressure. Grenades and aftershocks going in. And Hevan's been spotted, but Kusif finds the perfect timing to get Tricky. Fox will instantly take him down, and that's the A side being opened up. Zoid goes down towards U-Haul as well. And it's those 1v1 duels that they give away. It's going to be a troublesome duel. A backstab that came in pretty early did give Sami a bit of timing, but he could not work it out. Hika good for just a 1 as Fox takes out another 3k. And absolutely well done from the side of Medal. 4 rounds in a row, and they look to be in cruise control at the moment.
Yeah, control when it comes to economy round too, especially on the previous round. For a moment I thought the race would have just, you know, got the entire clearance on the side, but turns out that sheriff shot from that headshot though, from Kusef was quite unexpected. A pause timeout will be requested from Medal's side, I believe, but I believe that timeout won't work out. So it's still 0-4. And we just have to wait out for the pause time to come to an end, and we can proceed. But talk about round number 5 itself, Universe. We see the ultimates from Brim's side. We even see the Seekers, which is present from the Sky. So looking at the situation from the side of Orgless Esports, they are yet to make a recovery. And since in the previous round, they were forced to buy with Sheriffs, and now they have at least some decent weapons to work it out with. They have the Vandals, they even have good utilities, even more so the heavy armor. What do you think that Medal Esports would proceed with the attack, and what do you think the counters we could see at the hands of Orgless?
Well, Orgless particularly are not, you know, well versed with the map of Bind as such. It's been one map that I think they haven't touched, but it's also something that they haven't gone to ban as well. They don't have a problem with it. They, would love to play it for sure. And the only thing that I'm concerned about in the way that Orgless play is that they've got Hevan on that fade. I believe that Hevan on the fade is something that's rather new. We've not seen him play that much, while the rest of them are sitting in their, respective slots of being sticking agent that they usually are with. Zoid with the duelist, Sami with the chamber / jet whenever he gets the chance. They're doing a good job, but I think that Hevan is the one who needs to show the one, X factor, because we've never seen him on fade, and if he's able to make a difference happen here with recons like those, it's gonna be a good thing for his team, because out they go towards a shot. A crossfire set up with a push, and it yields them victory. Easy is gonna be facing off Sami, and it's the chamber duels now that's gonna be coming towards the way of Sami, as he does leg Easy by 120, and he's down to 30 HP. But for how long can he keep this going? 2 versus 5. There's 2 pretty good ultimates if at all needed. And God Vexi's got a good heal for Easy, as he comes back up to 100 HP. And now they're going to expect the Tour de Force to do some work. He's going up close, checking every single corner. And he's got 3 players to worry about. 1 in pocket, 1 in U-Hall, which is a good crossfire. But he does not expect a close-up angle. Tucked into the corner was Hevan, and a flawless round comes in from the side of Orgless, a much needed one as well, as Medal completely torn apart towards that A shot side. They expected that push, but they just weren't ready for it.
Yeah, they weren't ready for it. And I have to say, especially in that pause time, the way how you predicted it right, Universe, is just absolutely insane. You said Haiwan needs to step up, and he eventually did. With the utilities, even with the crossfire angles being placed, I have to say, Orgless have done a great job at not only just holding out the entire site on A, but they've reduced their man count as well on the opposition side too. They will win this round, which means that they'll have op. It looks like Sam will be the one bringing in the operator. Information's been given from the guiding light, and here comes the counter from Enigma. Or should I say Hika. Paint bombs being thrown around, but let's not forget the showstopper is still present. The only problem is that Tricky doesn't have the satchel charges to proceed with ruthless aggression. Information being thrown around from Haiwan. Does he get the info regarding Tricky's position? No, he does not. He is safe, but for how long? Because Sami is still holding out that angle though. From the operator, he now falls back. Doesn't have some useful information. Trailblazer will give some information at least. But now the main problem would be in the hands of Sami. Oh, beautifully done. That's Tricky down. Which means that the entire B teleporter needs to get in the hands of the control back again. Rotate. Now Zoid needs to hold this ground. If Orgless needs to get the win, and looks like he will eventually get so. There goes Izzy. Not at the hands of Fox once again. Trade games are working out way too well at the hands of the attackers. The smokes are in. They're just waiting for post plant. That huge utility is being thrown around from Fate to Zen will be even much more tougher, but he forgot about God Vexy. He's still at the Lamps' side. They'll succeed in post plant, and here comes the orbital strike that will force them to head out from the tunnel side, and that angle from Sami is more than enough to bait them out. That is really great. A good job from the side of Orgless Esports, using orbital strike to force out almost all 3 players on the side of Metal Esports. They were forced to head in towards the tunnel side, and by the time they were trying to get out, it was too late. The angles were there, even the crossfire angles was present on the side of Orgless Esports, and now they're slowly gaining themselves back up, 2-4.
Yep. Anyway, the ultimate was, the X Factor, perfectly done by Badman over there. Forgive me, by Kusif, who puts it down towards U-Hall. He knows that there's at least 2 players who are planting, and 1 close by giving him cover, and 1 towards U-Hall. Pushes them all away to be forced towards the elevator angle, the teleporter angle. And Sami swings wide out, gets pretty good kills, and now it is the side of the attack, which is on sort of semi-buy. They've got a Vandal and a Phantom, armor across all of the players, half armor across 3, and they're going to be looking for ultimate orb farming as much as they can. God Vexy has gotten one, as Metal are playing a bit of the slow game, hoping that Easy can get a free frag here. The Headhunter, 2 bullets wasted, a couple of more to go, and he will teleport away. Does not want to give away his life or his bullets. They're way too valuable. As an A split looking unlikely at this point because the showers control from the side of Orgless is immaculate, and they've got a pretty good understanding of what the play over here is going to be happening. The back side though is where they're pushing, and Hevan is going to be taking care of it. Out come the flashes. Hevan needs to be careful, but he's got support here, and they're running in towards U-Haul. They want to give them the fight. Hevan is just spamming down across smokes and finding kills, and Hika's just gonna be smashing down everything towards the U-Haul side. Easy's the only one left. He was holding down the angle towards showers. Now he's gonna hold down towards U-Haul. Nothing given to him either except for just a touch. Hika with 3 as the team themselves of Orgless also find 3.
Yep. Turns out Orgless Esports, they're slowly coming back up. Especially that important push that they did from Hevan's side. Man, very close. Now, when it comes to the ultimates, we still have the tour de force. We even have the showstopper from Zoid. Hika, 3 more kills, and he'll be able to receive the Seekers, which will help them force the attackers to be in a very difficult spot. You know, they will be forced to reposition. But for now, the biggest main concern has to be Fox. He has the ability. He has the ultimate, that is. And the only problem is we'll never know which kind of execute will it be. So you could say they're currently playing for picks, but also they need to ensure that they would not get picked out quite early in the round. Tricky will get tagged a lot. Wouldn't say that much though. He was just wall banged for a brief amount of damage. They just need to have information regarding the rest of the players though. I believe they know that one of them is playing towards the B side. Even Chamber, they even have Chamber's information too. Now what will be the push though? Tricky, good. That's one. Now he just needs to fall back because one of them is playing very close near, and here comes the trade game. Fox immediately realizes that, and here comes Rolling Thunder. The pressure is on for the defensive side as they're losing a lot of players and also a lot of bodies. Hika comes back with a headshot. Easy goes down, and so does Hika at the hands of God Vexy. Now it's Sammy. Has the open hand. Will he choose this? Will he choose to save it, or wants to contest in a 1v3? They even have the lineup from Brimstone. It's also difficult.
Yeah, it most certainly is, but he does have money, so he's going to be going in for that. He doesn't care about whether losing his operator. He's going to be able to buy it up in this round as well. He's got total creds, 8.8k creds that he's going to be using up completely. And not to forget, he's also got his tour de force if need be. Now, the ultimate economy of the attack seems to be pretty good in terms of what they want to execute, with Tricky and Badman having their ultimates ready. God Vexy is just 2 away from it. He could pick up an orb and get a kill or get the plant down. So they're looking pretty good. But on the opposite side as well, Zoid having that ultimate is probably what's going to be causing a lot of difference. Hevan along with them. And as soon as they talk about it, here goes a showstopper from one side, but Sami finds Tricky mid-air, and he's absolutely destroyed. Zoid will waste his ultimate, but he's got a lot of information and a lot of control as well. He is alone though, and he's got just a Spectre to work with, and he's holding a very tight angle, which is going to be discovered by God Vexy. He spots him, and now they're going to be trying to push on him. Flash is going through, grenade to stop them at bay, but this is the side of Orgless who need to make a move, and there's Hika doing the same thing. Finds one. Flash is gonna give away information, but not a kill. Hevan comes from the back end, and what a pinch over here from the side of Orgless. They've completely dismantled this team, and they will shut down the last man standing. Well, it looks like that ultimate did not damage any person from the side of Metal, but it did give them that little bit of, freaky moment, because they didn't know where the ultimate is coming from. And the minute Zoid went ahead with it, A-Shot completely cleared. Hevan took control of the other side of A-Shot. He wrapped around all the way from their spawn, and they shut them down just, even before they could enter hookah or be long. A great aggressive movement from Orgless.
Yeah, Metal Esports had no chance to fall back and reposition. It even made their round much more tougher. Even more so even in this round. It'll be difficult. Back again, Sheriff's in hand. Only Fox has the Phantom, which means that if they have to make a play, it has to be from Fox's end. Having an upgrade of weapons is exactly what Metal Esports are trying to do. And easy. Prowler's been detected, information's been given, and he'll just fall back. It's just that they're just currently playing for information game at the moment. The only main difference is that they're full-on focused on the A site, and this has given Sammy a good amount of information regarding this. They know exactly what kind of execution is, but it's too late. The execute has happened, the smokes have already been placed in, and now they're just waiting on that execute.
I've got your trail. Fire in the hole!
Seekers are still in, so does Showstopper, and that Showstopper will get one. Here comes 2 kills from Kusev's end. It's 3-3. Here comes the upgrade of the weapons. This is exactly what
30
Medal
seconds
Esports
left.
need. They have one Vandal at the hand. They even have
Spike
Seekers to give
planted.
information, and that is at the hands of Orgless.
Oh, yeah,
Orbital
again, that
strike. That is not good. The orbital strike is even much more difficult, but somehow he survives. Hika survives all of that. Drops down, and now all they have to do is gain control on lamps. That's exactly where 2 players are. But do the defenders know their whereabouts? Trailblazer might be able to give them the information nonetheless. But it's not too late. Fox is
One
still
enemy
alive. The concussion is there. So does the equalizer. Sammy's here. So does Hika. Clean up. And Sam will be there to defuse.
Cheers, mate.
He'll just give it to Hika nonetheless. He'll just need the Seekers more than he does. 5-5. Equalizer. Orgless. A good way to survive the round in the first half.
Yeah, they have reconciled here. They've brought it back, and they've made it a little bit easier for them now. That they will go into the attacking half. They won't have too much to worry about. 7-5, even if it does go there, against them, they're not going to have too much issues because that's the bare minimum that they could have hoped for. Now, though, they do have a chance to, beat Medal and take the lead themselves. They've got pretty good economy, and the ultimates across the entire board have been sort of diminished. It's only Hevan and maybe Easy could, pick up an orb and get an ultimate himself. But that Nightfall is going to be proving to be very valuable in this round. I think that's the win condition of this entire half. Because the minute the side of Orgless use that Nightfall and win this round, they're going to throw their opponents into an eco. A lot of information and control towards B long. Sami forced off of his angle. But that doesn't mean that he can support his teammate. Hika will go out in the open, straight down. Too easy. As now the B side has been opened up with just 1 kill, and they're taking control of Elbow as well. Sami will not allow that though. But he's down very low, and he's got 2 more players pushing upon him. Taking that fight, not really the best of scenarios for him, but he's got a little bit of time to waste for his teammates to come in for a flank. That might just be a little too late though, because God Vex is pushed up and Sami's going down. Could be problematic. Now they will expect the B-long push. Hevan takes out one though. Now, here we go. The Nightfall is going to prove to be very useful. Detects 1, detects 2. There's one in Hookah that's going to be kept alive, and that's Fox. He's going to be the win condition if at all they want to go for this. The Prowlers go in. Zoid finds one on the back of it. They've got another one to worry about. But Kusev is sticking the defuse. Kusev might have done enough over here. He's stuck at half. And now it's up to Hevan. He will go down. Fox plays it perfectly. And it is a 6th round for Medal.
Last round in the half.
Man, what a close round. Especially on that post plant. Fox. Man, he is the MVP of that round. They even had the ult, they had so much information to the table, but when that smoke happened from the side itself, it was difficult for the opposition side, for the defenders to just hold it out. This is the last round nonetheless, which means that Easy will get to use his tour de force. And now, the side of Medal Esports, now they're making a decision to execute on the A side. Zoid is very much careful, but with the help of the Sim Beacon, he might be able to get 1, but instead, Tricky will get 2 instead. He is just pressuring in towards the A side. Smokes has already been placed to block a lot of lines of sight, which means all the player on the side of Orgless are just rushing in to see whether if they can silence this round out. Post plant already, and this time you could say that Medal Esports have things under control. But unless and until Sammy proves to say otherwise, oh boy, headshot from the Vandal, from the Brimstone. Orbital Strike is here to give instant access from the Lamps' side, and here comes retaliation being made from Medal's end. It's all down to Sammy. Headhunter in hand, but it will be Badman to shut it off. 5-7 will be the first half end, and now we'll proceed into the role swap.
Yep. I thought that it would actually end up in the side of Orgless. They had such good, momentum running for them, but instantly it's turned around. 7-5 going in the favor of Medal as they head into the defense with the advantage, with the bare minimum. 7-5 is what they would have hoped for after letting Orgless slip a little close to them. But after this, I think that every way that Orgless are going to approach this attacking side is going to be important from the get-go itself, from the pistol itself. Because every time the pistol on bind comes up, it's, let's just say it's a very, unorthodox way to approach it because of the teleporters, of course. Sometimes they have this approach where they go towards B long, they have a split coming in, they allow one player to, lurk around towards hookah while they go B long, throw in a bunch of utility, make the force happen of rotation. Out comes a rotation, they allow one player to leave behind on A. That's kind of how it works on pistols because they want, the force to be together. Because on pistols, you need one person at least to lurk, which is probably going to be done by Sami. And I believe that's how they're probably going to run this situation where they go in towards B and work around their teleport away, go back towards A, unless they find, early frags, which will come only if they choose to fight towards B, because the side of Metal have pretty good utility to stop them, to keep them at bay. It is the same, lineup across the board, except for one difference, which is the fact that Hevan is playing on the fade, and we have a breach on the defense, who is a lot more potent in stopping pushes, right? He's got his aftershock, he's got his flashes, he's got his, he's got his fault line. So he can keep them at bay for a lot longer than the fade obviously can. So just because of that breach, I think that the attack side of Orgless might face a little bit of difficulty because Fox also is on top of the board for his team. He's on 11 kills and he's been, on fire throughout this entire tournament, let alone right now. So I would expect him to be a menace, especially on the breach. Let's find out how it goes down. We're heading back into the pistol. Ladies and gentlemen, will Orgless be able to make a comeback?
And that's the question that we're all worried for, Universe. Can they make a comeback? Since they're on attack, it's even much more difficult to determine whether if they could, succeed. A lot of tags been happening around in towards the B side. I believe they have some information regarding one of the specific operators, guiding right to help his teammate to see whether if he can peek or not in towards the fountain side. They're still waiting it out, seeing whether if they could get an early pick or not. Just keep that in mind that they're trying to gain information, and with that information being given around, they will be thinking of making execution. Trailblazer will come in at the hands of the Sky, which means they'll have fountain control, or will they though? I'm not quite sure. They'll just fall back into the B side. They don't want to do some risky decisions. But when that sound appears, when they start to make a lot of noises into the A side, that's exactly where the push will happen. Zoid gets caught out with the fault line. Pistol. Good headshot from Fox's end. Now Badman, that's not good. He's just gonna leave him just like that into the lamp side. And now Badman, oh, this is good. This is good. This is deadly. 2 kills with the classic and another with the ghost to take out Kusev. Man, what a hold. For a moment I thought Badman just, he just left one of the players into the lamp side. I thought they would have entire control on the A side. But here's the main problem. Haiwan had the spike in hand. And because of that one single mistake, the attackers were forced to get it back. And this is where the defenders had their control. Metal Esports, they got the exact control when Badman got that first pick. That was very important, and that will help them win their pistol round.
Indeed. Now, with this advantage, they go towards B long, easy, with an easy kill. Takes down Sami pretty convincingly, and now Hevan, he's hoping that somebody can pick up the weapon, but he's got a force coming in. Easy goes down without being able to teleport, and now it's on to Hika to try and hold on to this B long position as long as possible. Information with the jump peak, as he knows there's a minimum of 2 players over here. It could be more. So he plays it a little safe. They do have 4 Spectres, so they don't really need to worry about long range fights. They just need to let their opponent come to them. No point of
flank.
There we go. Zoid jumps out actually. Okay. Zoid actually gets one jumping out of the hookah position like it was nothing. Badman wasn't really watching it. And Zoid finds 2 with the classic. Tricky will get one though. As Fox comes in from the teleporter to find another. Towards hookah as these 2 split up and these 2 clean up most of what was left. but it's a very, very expensive round for the side of Medal. Losing four players who, by the way, had invested in completely into that round. Now they'll be forced to reinvest. They will have to face off this buy round, which means that it's practically an eco because they don't want to play on the bonus.
This is huge. This is huge coming in from Medal's end. Not only did they get to win their pistol round, they've even forced Orgless on a very difficult spot. Although for Medal Esports though, they don't have some necessary weapons from their end. Bucky from Tricky, Spectres at the hands of Fox, a bit of Sheriffs from God Vexy. You could say that Orgless Esports might have control on their advantage when it comes to weapon-wise, but they need to be careful though. They have a lot of firepower. Oh boy, what was that headshot from Easy? Gets to take out Zoid, especially with that revenge on that previous matchup, on the previous round that is.
Here.
But it's too late. They have to execute on the B side, and now here comes the teleport. Can we see Medal Esports hold their ground? Not quite sure. The retaliation is too huge for Orgless. And now Medal Esports, what can you do next? Fox is left in a very tough spot. 1v3. Will he choose to save his weapon, or does he want to contest? All three of them has necessary weapons to take out Fox. They even have their cross angles placed, so even if Fox does get the early peek, an immediate trade will come back. Yeah, that trade should be very much more problematic. There you go. Even with the flash, it's still not enough. Crossholds were placed, and with it, Orgless will succeed the attack round.
Yep, indeed. Now, with number 6 coming up on the board, they're still 3 away from where they want to be, and more. Medal have got their first buy round, and this is where they're going to try and stabilize their second half. And they do have a lot more potency in terms of defensive utility with the breach and race combo. They are very close. Fox is just one orb away from his Rolling Thunder, and he can pick that up towards Showers if need be, and that's exactly kind of what they're going for, because there is a B more concentrated focus from the attack. So while they get away with a little bit of information, the side of Orgless have got a lot of work to do. They're taking out a lot of the utility of the defense here, as they've even forced a rotation from Easy, and he's got good positioning. Flashed off though. Now they enter into the site. They've got information. Batman's in trouble though, but the others are making up for the work over here. One bunny alive. Hika could almost go down, and he will. He's stuck in that corner, reloading, and he will lose his life just to that. Heaven now in a 1v2, and he will just go down to Fox's aftershock. What the hell happened there? Heaven. He was just trying to get to safety, but instead he walks into the big bursting ability of Breach, and Fox doing damage without even knowing that he was actually going to do it.
Oh boy, you could say their hands were tied at that point. 3 angles. I mean, the reason I just made that pun because the map is bind, and bind kind of works out with, you know, tied. But anyways, jokes aside, I have to say, what exactly happened there? You know, the aftershock from Breach, even more so the Molotov from from Brimstone. That was 2 utility kills at the hands of Medal Esports. Easy once again, the open hand. Oh no, he's going to miss it. The second shot also missed, and that will give the kill for Sammy. God Vex is down. And now they have to execute nonetheless. Oh, Batman just tried his best efforts to take out Zord as best as possible, but he wants to continue the aggression. Even more so, Haiwan with the Sheriff kill. They have to contain the situation, and Fox is ready for this. Denial of the spike, the grenade, the shot from Tricky, and now the danger. The danger starts to lurk around. The counter is too strong. It's way too strong, and Orgless will be forced to fall back.
Yep. Oh, Hikado, he's in very good positioning, but he will go down to Fox. This guy is unstoppable. His ultimates, his utility, and his aim all are on absolute top-notch point right now. And with this form that he's doing, that, you know, he's getting for his team to get the victory on map number 1, Tricky's gonna hold down his showstopper to try and play this a little longer. The ultimate comes in from Kusif, but it seems almost useless at this point. Heavan stunned and held off of his ground,
One
but
enemy remaining.
Fox will find Kusef on the back of side. Easy will take care of him as Evan will go down as the last man standing, and 6 and 11. Baba, I think this game is done and dusted.
Man, what was that play? The counters was perfect. The entire counter on B side was timed to perfection. And the minute you saw the amount of denials that you've seen from Metal Esports, and you should have seen the faces on Orgless, they started to run away. They kept running away in towards the tunnel side, and that was tough from Orgless's end.
You want to play?
What's even more
Let's
worse
play.
is that they're back on a 4 spy. Bulldogs, Sammy, he has the classic, but still he can still use the tour de force, the off, with just 5 bullets in it. And that's the best part about Chamber, though. Even if you're at a disadvantage in the economy rounds, you can still somehow figure out a solution to any of the problems that the opposition team gives it to you. But, man, still have the Seekers. Seekers hasn't been used yet from Hika's end. So I think he's waiting for the perfect moment. Seeing whether he could find some important information. And I believe they'll get to know exactly where Brimstone's location is. But do they know Skies? Yes, they do now. He can know exactly where Godvexy is. And now they know that there is 2 players holding very aggressively in towards the B side. And look at that. Look at how Orgless is going right now. With the information being given, now they're heading in with the execute on B. And this, they have to win it out. Or else Metal Esports, they will be on match point here.
Oh, Zoid flies in yet again, and Sami makes the best of that bait. Tricky was absolutely unaware. He went out blind, I mean, just raw for that peek, and he did not realize that there could be an operator on the other side of it. Easy is on the A side, as the ultimate from the Brimstone is going to keep Orgless at bay, but for the moment only. Badman holding on a perfect angle as a crossfire being set up between him and Godvexy, and it might just be enough. Badman does it all for his team as match point comes up here, Baba, and I think now we can finally say it's pretty much done and dusted. Orgless absolutely outplayed on the map of Bind. A desperate buy will come through in their hands, but will this be able to secure a comeback of 6 rounds and more?
Yeah, this is a tough spot, though. Talk about Fox, man. 20 kills. 20 kills for Fox. Playing as the Breach. The fault lines, the aftershock. It's just so powerful and so difficult for Orgless Esports to even contain that situation. And although in that previous round, yes, they had information regarding that the entire B long was heavily fortified, they decided, you know what, there's 2 players, one of them which they didn't they didn't had any information regarding Brimstone's whereabouts. Now they only knew exactly where Sky was, and since the hooker site wasn't contested at all, maybe it would have been better for Orgless Esports to, you know, committed towards the B side, because there's only 2 players, right? Both of the players were on B long, so they would have given it a shot on B window itself, but maybe lack of information is what Orgless Esports is having a lot of trouble. And especially with the Fades' ability, I haven't seen them being able to detect any player or 2 in the early phase itself. But all in all, it is 6-12. High likely a chance that Metal Esports can succeed map number 1 and secure map Bind itself. But all in all, there is still a chance. And with the pause timer being used, it is a 4 spy nonetheless. Spectres from Zoid, which means that the ability Showstopper, that Showstopper from Zoid has to make a collateral damage towards Metal's end. And if that does not succeed, then you could say that Metal Esports can just calmly win it out.
Indeed. Now we get into it. Here we go. Potentially the final round of this map number 1 on Bind. Let's see how it finds out its way going down. Zoid yet again taking control of Oka as Godvexy finds his ultimate in his hands, and Hiccups just absolutely spammed down Badman for free through that smoke. Good first kill from him though. as Zoid is hoping to run in with his ultimate. Now, oh, Sami, good flick onto God Vexy as another kill comes in from Zoid. And with that, the only one kill that's come through is from AZ onto Heavan. 4 versus 2. Looking unlikely that Metal finished this game off right now, because in this situation, they are outnumbered and at the moment outplayed as well. Hika's on top of that glass box right there, the Radiant box is, as he's trying to make way for AZ to come through, but Sami's just gonna blow his head straight off. Hika finds the last, and Orgless survive for another round.
Yeah, they will. Even more so, they'll have necessary economy, or should I say, enough amount of money to, get their weapons back. You get some of the utilities back, even more so their heavy armors. But I kind of understand what Orgless is trying to go through, at that specific round. They knew that one of them would just, go in for the ult-op, exactly what Sky was trying to do Hika. And since you saw the smoke which is being placed from all the way from B long, that early peek was so important for Orgless to get the opening and also get the executing towards the B side. Now, God Vexy, he has the Seekers in hand. They even have a lot of information regarding Prowler's whereabouts, but they're losing a lot of bodies. Once again, it's Easy's first pick. This time, Zods will get taken out. Which means that the attackers, though, from the side of Orgless, are now stuck in towards the fountain side. I believe they're currently waiting for Phase's information. Again, jump peek from God Vexy to determine some information regarding the players. They see 2 players. Seekers immediately get destroyed. Guiding light. Will we see the peek? Double peeks. That's 1, 2. Doesn't get the confirmation though, but here comes Batman. 2 kills. And there you go. Just Haiwan left in a 1v3. Teleportation denies. But in the end, it will be a trade nonetheless. 13-7 will be map number 1 bind at the hands of Team Metal Esports, as they'll be able to secure map number 1.
Yeah, what a finish as well. A great way to finish it off. They did give 1 round away, which, usually tends to go around the fact that, okay, guys, you got momentum. Let's get another one, then another one. But Metal instantly shut it down. And with that, we've got the first map of bind going in the hands of Metal Esports. And a step closer to what they did in the last time, which was quite a feat in itself. But I really hope that history does not repeat itself, because the last time Metal were in this spot, they played 4v5 against Lethal Esports, had one of the best ever games of Valorant we've seen in South Asia. They beat them 4v5, and to come back to it, Lethal took the series 2-1 in the next 2 maps. Unfortunately for Metal, they could not keep it up when they had player the God disconnected in map number 1. Come back and they just couldn't keep up with Lethal in the next 2 maps. Here, thankfully, they've been able to keep all of their players intact and get themselves to the first map victory. Now we've got Ascent coming up. As we talk about it, bind has been pretty much in their control overall, hasn't it? Especially from Fox. That one man as the breach has absolutely been such a menace to deal with. 21-10. He's got 6 assists as well. And not to mention, he's also got 3 first bloods. And that's actually more than Zoid.
Yeah, the timing when it comes to the counters that we've seen from Metal Esports was just too tough for Orgless to defend. Although I do have to give some appreciation from Orgless's end, especially from Zoid. The amount of hold that they had to deal with, especially with Tricky's satchel charges from the site itself, it was very difficult for them at the mid-round itself. But what Metal Esports did on both attack as well as on defense is that they had necessary information. They had information regarding the execute. They know at what time would the attackers roam or would reposition on a different site. They had every single information regarding this. And most of the flanks that we've seen from Metal Esports' end, especially on defensive hold, not once have we seen them do it. But you could say on a site like B, the B side, that's exactly where every single utilities were used. The Breach's ultimate, even more so the Fates' ultimate was being used both at the same time. That was too much for Orgless to handle. And even more so, the amount of alt ops that they have captured from Metal Esports, the amount of control that they have from both showers and even on A long was way too much. It was way too much. Orgless Esports, it kind of felt there was no way in, and the only way they can get out of it was to challenge those angles. And unfortunately, even with the challenges that was being made, the trade game is what Metal Esports succeeded, and in the end we did get to see the end result of it.
Yeah. Orgless did have a good first half. They brought it up to 5-5, and I thought that it would be a lot more competitive. But in the second half, they were absolutely shut down. Just the 2 rounds that they had. Their first round that they picked up after the buy round came in through for them after losing the pistol, and the penultimate round that they just had before, having lost the map 13-7. Those are the only 2 rounds that Metal gave them, and with the way that they were playing, Metal absolutely deserved this victory. Team effort overall, but individually, Fox was an absolute beast today. Hika did as much as he could, but there's only so much you can do when you individually can, get a couple of kills for sure, but your team needs to, chime in as much as possible. Zoid, like I said, he is probably one of the better duelists out there, but today on Raze, on the map of Bind, something that he just was not accustomed to, because Orgless haven't played Bind that much compared to their other maps. They've played Ascent very well. They've played Haven pretty much a lot of times. They've been constantly going back and forth between these 2 maps primarily, and they've been pretty great on these 2 maps itself. That, I think, is why on the next map, Orgless might have a chance to pull this to a map number 3, because Metal Esports, as great as they have been on Bind, Ascent is a map where Orgless have been absolutely smashing teams for less than 13-5 scorelines. They've been very, very consistent with that from the round of 128 itself. So as much as I expect it to be tougher competition on the map of Ascent, we'll see if Metal can actually shut this down 2-0 after a quick little break and a word from our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the AMD Ryzen and Windows 7 present the Esports Club Challenger Series powered by Crucial. Get you some snacks. It's going to be a tough fight.
The legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial Ballistics. legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the AMD Ryzen and Windows 11 present the Esports Club Challenger Series powered by Crucial. We just got done with map number 1 on Bind as Metal took the lead on their own map, and we head to Ascent now. A map where the side of Orgless seemed to be a lot more comfortable across the entire series of matches that they've played across both Qualifier 1 and 2. Now, they are one step away from securing their slot in the group stages, Metal, but there is a huge roadblock right now, and that is the map of Ascent, which, by the way, has been the best map of Orgless throughout their entire journey so far. They've beaten teams less than 13-5 scorelines, very dominant on it, and I believe that this could lead to a map number 3, but I still think that Middle might have the upper end of things over here, considering the fact that they are more functionable as a team. What do you think, Baba? How do you see this going?
You know, since you talked about the first qualifiers itself, you did talk about the way how Medal Esports almost had the chance to proceed into the next phase. They would have gotten the spot for the they would have got the spot for the group stages, right? And now they're here for the second chance. So what if I told you that Orgless might be able to put themselves on deciders? Because since Ascent is always a standard map, it always comes down to the way how the agents pick, the way how the counters would work out from the particular teams, right? So I have to agree for the fact that this can go towards the deciders, unless and until if we see the side of Orgless losing a lot of rounds, if they ended up being on the eco round. If they succeed in Thrifty, then there is high likelihood chance that they can fling back and see whether if they can defend the second map itself. And talking about the map picks, I have to say map number 1, Bind, which is picked by Team Orgless. And what's more unfortunate is that Orgless lost their own map pick, which was on Bind. And since this is Medal Esports' pick on Ascent, you could say that they are very confident on defending the site itself, but there is high likelihood chance that some random mistakes could happen unless and until that mistake has converted itself into a boon on Orgless's end. Medal Esports need to contain the situation. So all in all, that is my 2-bit according to the match itself. So Medal Esports, they picked the map. It's their map pick. If there is, you could say it's more of like a 70 to 30% chance that Medal Esports can win, but it's always that mistakes that Orgless needs to find it out. And if they do, you could say that we could see deciders.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is actually the pick of Orgless, Baba. Bind was the pick of Medal. That's why they're more comfortable. Yeah. Small. The only thing. Go on.
No, I actually had the information from here itself. I think I had the wrong information regarding.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. Now, the only thing that I'm concerned about with both of these lineups is that you can see Orgless has gone for a pretty straightforward lineup, right? It's they've got the Jet, they've got this Chamber as well. They've got a double initiator, which is pretty standard issue, the Sova and the KO. And we'll talk about all of this later, because right now, look at where Tricky's gone up. Tricky has so much information, picks out one, even though he's traded off, he's given his team all that he needs. They can rotate away right now and not care about the repercussions of what's going to be happening, because they've got information in plenty. Out comes Godvexy from a shot. Easy's found 2 with his grenade as well as his pistol. And as he goes for the third, they've absolutely split the side of Orgless into 2 and skewered them into kebabs.
This time, back again on a 1vx situation. kind of feels like history repeated itself, just like we saw on map number 1 bind.
Yep.
In a 1v3 without the spike in hand, that means he will try to get control of it. Information will be given via sound cues indicating that he's at mid cubby, but do the players on the side of Middle Esports know about this? Not quite sure. I believe they do. That's
they
why
do
you see
know.
repeating it. Yeah, they do know.
They do know, but they're just trying to,
seconds
you know, let him have the spike and do whatever he wants because they know they've got 2 players very low on HP. So they're going to play this a little safe. There is a little bit of confusion on the bad man, but God Vexy's covered enough. Now, that is pretty good pistol round from the side of the defense, but here's where I want to reinstate the conversation about the lineups. Now, you can see that because they've got the jet middle, they don't want to invest on the chamber. So they allowed that role of the chamber, which usually will come in, you know, in the hands of Easy. They've given him the KO. And this initiator combo that they have between the KO and the Fade is very powerful because it's not just information, it's also the disability of sound cues as well as hearing aids. So it's a very good comp in terms of the double initiator. And not to forget that they've also got an Astra who is not just a controller, she's a semi-initiator as well with her Nova and also the, you know, the Gravity Well. And to top it all off, they've got Fox on the Killjoy, who again, one of the most powerful ultimates in the game. And there is no proper, you know, counter to it except for Hika having his, you know, ultimate when he, if and when he does. And Hevan's grenade, which now damages across walls. But I don't think the grenades are going to be making that much difference unless shots like these where Sami gets one but instantly traded off. So composition-wise, I do believe that Metal have the upper hand in terms of utility. Because 4 of their players are absolutely utility gods. And Tricky is an aim god. And he's going to be doing the best he can to utilize that.
Yeah, the follow-up will come back too from God Vexy's end. There you have it. 2 rounds at the hands of Metal Esports. So, map number 1 was Orgless's map pick, or was it Metal's map pick? It was Metal's map pick, right, on the first map. And map number 2 was Orgless's mind pick. So actually now I can understand why you did say that this can go towards the deciders. It's in the map pick itself. So Ascent, although if you did get to see the 2 defensive rounds at the hands of Metal Esports, which means they're looking very good at the first half. They have good economic growth, which means that it will be bonus round on round number 3. They have good amount of ultimate from their hands too, especially from Tricky. All he needs is his 2 more kills and his Blade Storm will be available. Even more so, I have to agree the composition that Metal Esports have been playing. The Astra, the Gravity Well, you could, however, combo it with the Alama bot too, because vulnerability, they'll get stuck in one particular place if they have the timing right with the execute. But the main important thing that we have to focus on has to be the other KO, because since it's a battle between the KOs, it always comes down to the timing wise. And the suppression knife, although it's not only used to gain information, but also forces the attackers to negate any utilities that they could use for around 5 to 6 seconds. That amount of brief seconds is more than enough for any of the team to make a huge play or just immediately deny it, both at the same time. Even more so, his ultimate null command, which is more of like a down but not out state. Your teammate could just come back, revive you back instantly, and ensure that you would still stay alive at the rest of the round. You could say it has half the abilities of Sage. You did get to see Sage a lot, but the main problem is Sage is a sentinel, whereas KO is an initiator. He has flashbangs. He could pop flash. He uses fragment. He denies, abilities being used from the opposition. And so you have a lot of, let's just say, restrictions that both the attackers as well as the defenders needs to be careful about. And I can understand this composition itself looks very strong on Metal's end. But if you take a look at the counters itself, the Omen, do you really think Omen would be a good idea to see whether if it works out well on attack or as well as on defense in the universe?
I think so. It does work well, I believe, but there's always, some sort of counters because it kind of goes up and down in certain situations. Overall, though, I do believe that if it's a composition like what Metal have right now, the Killjoy does serve a lot of purpose because on Ascent, there are very good lineups for Killjoy to get the ultimate done. We've seen towards B main when it's on the attack, on defense towards the switch as well. They know how to work this. So I really think that Orgless are going to have a difficult time here facing off the utility that will come from the hands of the defense, because with the way that they're able to damage them, we just saw in the first round itself, Easy was able to find a kill off his grenade. A lot of damage was given by it as well. And of course, with Badman and his utility pulling them, stunning them, all the jazz keeps on helping them. Now let's find out whether or not it's going to help them towards the B side. Tricky, very aggressive peek, very confident as well. The ambition does give him a little bit of value, but not too much. One trade, I thought that was a kill, but it was actually a teleport away. And now the side of Orgless are actually holding to keep the opponents at bay from pushing in towards B main. So let's find out how far they can get into this B side.
Yeah, B side though, already blocked with a lot of lines of sight from Astra's Nebula. And the main problem has to be towards the mid side itself. Now you still have Batman, pop flash, which means the execute will happen from Orgless's end, blocking a lot of lines of sight thanks to Jet. And here comes the counters. Can they clear out the site on B? Both Killjoy and Godvexy are still alive, but not for long. Both of them has been downed out at the hands of Sammy. Side control is there. Pop flash denied, and so does Batman from below, but it's still not more than enough. Sammy comes back yet again as a really great duelist. 3 kills from his end. And that will give them the opening win on attack itself. Round number 3 will be theirs, which means that they'll have a decent amount of economic growth. I do apologize for that. My pronunciation game just went out of nowhere. And I actually forgot about one more thing. Is Hika bringing Sova targeting Cage's ultimate to destroy? Because I've seen a lot of counters, like the way you talked about Cage's lockdown. There are some spots you can place it on a tree. There are a lot of safe spots that KJ can immediately disorient the entire executes on the attack, and the only thing that they can destroy it is from those shock darts, and Sova eventually has it. So unless and until if they have a proper angle to destroy that important utility, I could say that the entire attack push is still the same. But let's just focus on the execute once again, folks. Because Orgless, they don't want to stop. They want to continue the aggression. But looks like Godvexy has something else in mind. Odin in hand. Okay, interesting. Pop flash once again. Sammy looking strong, but Fox is still here for the recovery. They don't have control on the site nonetheless. B control is theirs. Post plant would come in, which means now it's a 3v3 post plant. How will Metal Esports contest?
Well, they do have information that all 3 of them are on site, so they're gonna have no issues about approaching this particular region. That recon not gonna give them any information for spamming down the opponents, but there is a push coming in. Batman and Fox, both of them just clear up everything. They don't need any sort of flashes. They don't need any sort of utility to come out, it seems. All they need is a double peek, and it works out perfectly because they did not expect it at all. Odin picked up as well. Number 3 for the side of Metal. As, a great retake. No lives lost and weapons recovered as well. Economy pretty much looking in the good side for the side of Metal as they put up another round. And they are looking at a couple of ultimates slowly popping up as well. Hika has his, and so does Sami on this side, which I think is going to be utilized in this round. Sami will be using his blades, as the opponents now are looking for Godvexy and Easy to pick up their ultimates as well. They are 1 orb away, and Easy's ultimate is probably the most important one because he is the KO, and the Null Command is one of the best ultimates in the game. Shuts down everything in terms of abilities in sight. And this time Metal Esports, with just a wee bit of extra utility, keep the side of Orgless on a slow approach, as the mid-region looking to be contested, and Godvexy seems to be prepared for this.
Already Sam is deep within the mid side, but the big problem is that there's an alarm bot. Tricky. Good shot once again to take out the KO. And Sammy is just patiently waiting. His location is still not given away, and he still knows that there's an alarm bot still playing, still being placed towards the mid place. So he cannot move in unless and until they have a lot of utilities to deny those. But they're just stuck. Smokes. There you go. Back again. It's the B execute. They have mid control this time, or maybe is it just a bait? They're just giving them misinformation from the B side, which means a lot of utilities will be expended from that particular place. And now Batman gives the information, but Tricky's at a very good spot. That's one, that's two, gravity well, perfectly timed. That's three, doesn't get the fourth one, gets back to trade. But this is huge. Hika also gets down at the hands of Easy, which means that null command will be in his hand, and also a win on the defensive end. 4-1, Orgless. This is not looking good from their end.
Indeed. They had a good read of what they wanted to do, but because they invested heavily into the previous round, thinking that Sami is going to be able to work around the round with his knives, they expected it, to be, okay, guys, we're going to force into this one. And they've made a sort of an economical mistake, because not only have they awarded Tricky with the boost of confidence that he needed with the 4K that he got, they've also given an ultimate to Easy, and they will be playing now on an eco. While Zoid does have his ultimate ready and he's utilizing it, he's already gotten down by one bullet. Evan is looking for success towards the B side, which is instantly shut down by Tricky, who tags him down to less than 10 HP. No Sky, no Sage, no heal. And with this now, the side of Orgless completely dumbfounded about what to do. They've got no direction whatsoever. Look at their players. They've gotten mid, but they don't have control, because the side of Metal don't care about mid. They've got Vexy jumping around towards his own spawn and looking for any sort of pushes. He's even got the Haunt to clear out the close angle, if at all anything. And there's an ultimate commitment, which could prove to be valuable. Hika almost found Fox, but he gets away as Tricky will find one. Zoid instantly trading down, but the B side still inaccessible because they've got no utility on their initiators that can help them enter this site.
And Nana Storm is also placed from that execute too, so for the attackers, do they know about this? If that ability gets activated and God Vexy starts to unleash chaos with the Odin, everything will start to fall apart. What is it though? Hika, headshot, but they're losing a lot of time. 10 seconds. They need to get into the side as fast as possible, and this opening might just be it. 4 seconds required for the spike to be planted, but it's not enough. Denial from Easy. That's more than enough to claim the kill and the victory. Oh man, what's even more best thing about Metal Esports is that they did Easy. He didn't use the null command at all. Not a single ultimate was used to the hands of Metal Esports, which means that they could still use it in the next round.
Yeah, they knew that this is an eco, so they didn't really want to commit their ultimates, which is a good thing. And if he actually had committed it in that situation, it would have been, a very difficult commitment of ultimate, which would come to bite him in the back later on, because there's always a better round to use it, especially when your opponents have a full buy, not when they're on an eco. And now they have a good control of mid. They're running in, and Tricky spotted. He's gonna get away just about. No damage given to him as Orgless yet again approach mid. This time with a split towards B. Hika's got the B main side, and he's been smoked off of this angle, while Sami just dashes into his own death. Hika will find Tricky though. Out comes the Nightfall, which has given information as Fox is keeping his opponents at bay with his utility. As now, the B side, while it is being heavily guarded on the back of side, there's 2 very good ultimates useful that they can use now. Fox does not want to use it, but he will spam down towards an angle, which will actually end up baiting himself. And look at where they're running, actually running in towards spawn. This is interesting. Batman finds one, make that double, make that a triple.
Spike down.
What were they thinking, not checking their corners? Why did nobody turn left? What is happening here, Orgless? They chose to go towards spawn, which is a risky but a good decision if they wield it well. They had control. They went straight towards spawn. They said, okay, you know what, we're gonna take the fight over here. And they had 3 men there, Baba. And if one of them had turned left, one of them had turned left, the game would have been over. They would have taken out Badman and they could have gone straight towards A, and it would have been amazingly, you know, well played. An instant adaptation of what they were trying to do. But that one not checking of an angle throws them in down to the drain 6-1 and potentially 7-1 because this is an eco yet again.
Rule number 1 of any FPS game: watch your corners, or else it would end up being that. Like we saw that example in the previous round. And this will hurt even more so. And it just continues to have a lot of danger. Fox back again, 2 kills, playing as the Sentinel, the Nano Swarms, not even letting the attackers set foot into the site. And now they're trying to reclaim mid-control. But the main problem itself is the Alarm bot. Once they have the information regarding this, they know exactly what's going to happen. Batman, once again, contesting angle with Zoid. A 1-tap was about to be a 1-tap, but it was through the wall. But he'll get the kill nonetheless. It's all down to Hiccup. 1v4. And that will be denied the hands of Batman. 7-1. Like I said, they had to check the corners because that... I really can't understand why. Because the entire B side was heavily fortified because there was an Odin holding on from B boathouse. So they decided, you know what, that's a lot of heavy firepower. So I think it's best for us to fall back. What's even more worse on Orgless Esports' end is that they had no information on the other two, including Astra's whereabouts. Even more so, they had no idea on KO's whereabouts too because he was already at towards mid. The amount of less information that Orgless has is very painful. Although the Owl Drone just give good information from the site itself, you need to ensure that you have backup plans on the flank side. Chambers traps, even more so the post-plan situation where some of the utilities has to be present on the attacker's side if things went south. But this time, we see one player on the side of Team Orgless, that's the Chamber, who's currently doing a lurk in towards the B main. This is interesting. All 4 of them are in towards the A side. None of them has control on mid, which means that they want to make an escape. Although Tricky is still here, a great op shot at that too by taking out Sammy. He used to deal a lot of damage towards Medley Sports' end. And with him not being available, it's much more tough for them. Null command, which Jet can't be able to use a dash. Even more so, cuz the Omen will succeed in winning most of his gunfights. He'll be able to revive his KO, which means it is a 1v3 where God Vexy, with the Odin in hand,
30 seconds
has
left.
to figure out a way to see whether if they can claim a win or 2. That's not going to happen. Zoid will get it with the Phantom, and with it, it's 7-2 with Orgless Esports trying to get themselves back on track.
Yeah, but they still have got a lot of work to do. You know, 7-2 down. This is worse than what happened on the opponent's map pick, by the way. And this is Orgless. This is the one map that they have absolutely been terrific on. They've, you know, taken down some of the most, well, let's just say, impressive underdog teams for scorelines of 13-3, 13-2. And now they're struggling against Metal. Mid yet again seeming to be of contention, but look at where Tricky's gone. Tricky detected and killed as well. Zoid not taking a chance on that, but he's got a backstab coming in. They know that he's stuck in this little corner and he's got absolutely nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Fox gets one, and now it's Zoid who's looking for more. Will get it, as there is just one man left standing. Batman. A very weird approach from the side of middle, I gotta say. They went aggressive towards mid and B, and the A side was also being contested at the same time. It kind of went off the rails over here, but too much commitment kind of gives away the, you know, the party. And now they are 7-3 up, and slowly letting up the scoreline of 7-5 get closer and closer to them. I'm pretty sure they don't want that yet again. But yeah, I really hope that Orgless find their groove in the last 2 rounds as they have and get a little bit more done. Tricky this time gonna be playing on his knives, as the rest of the team have got investments ready. Orgless split against both the sides yet again, as they throw in a little bit of extra information towards A, trying to maybe sell a fake, as the spike is towards B, and Hika is just trying to play along with the minds of his opponents here. Badman in towards Vines has got the advantage of in positional awareness, but he will need somebody to bait out this situation here. But, oh, that shock dart. Oh, that second shock dart, and Hika instantly destabilizes his aim to find Badman, and that's all they needed. They needed that first pick, and because it's Badman, there's going to be no smokes available to push off, to hold off any plays. With this, Middle Esports now split in between the two sides, 2 and 2, with the alarm bot towards mid, which holds it down. But good Vexy!
Down, B.
What sort of a play is that? Holds down the angle for free.
Oh, close. So close. I'm sorry about that, Universe. I was actually a
30
bit way too
seconds
excited for that.
Yeah, it came very close. Fox could have
Yeah.
lost his life there, but he will stay alive, and he's got a very, very good chance of securing this round for his team, especially with his lockdown. Easy, holding down the side, has not been spotted, and that's going to be problematic because he gets everybody except for the last man standing, and it doesn't matter whether Hika's alive. The spike's away from him, and he has to now just hide under heaven to keep himself and his weapon safe for the next round. 8 and 3. To the final round of defensive half for the side of Metal we
Last
go,
round before
and
the
it
switch.
seems like we are almost at the mercy of Metal over here, showing their rigorous
One enemy remaining.
play on Ascent.
Higher possibility of this first half to end at a 9-3, and we all know when we hear that number 9-3, it's always a curse.
Well,
There are some matches where the curse has been lifted, right?
yeah, quite a few actually. The curse has been, you know, a traditional format that we've always gone for whenever it is, you know, coming up, the 9 and 3. But I think CCV would tell you otherwise, and maybe you should have a chat with him about this. But hey, for the moment, Middle, happy conclusion towards the A side, and they've completely let go of the A shot. And that's given them away. Tricky's the only one left standing. He's closed off the door, but he's got a heavy artillery squad coming towards him. Finds one, looking for more. Perfect closure of the recon. And Godvexy just about in time to save him. Fox comes in
One
from shot.
enemy remaining.
What a recovery. What a goddamn recovery from Metal. Bring it down to a 2v1, which was a 5v3 essentially against them. And it's Sami who's trying to keep it all alive. The spike in his hands now.
out of my way.
And he's got the knives out. But he will not be doing anything more than killing Fox. I really thought Fox was about to kill him there. Sami secures around 8 and 4. No cursed scoreline.
Yeah, I guess I jinxed it out. I guess me jinxing a 9-3 is why we went to an 8-4. I'm just kidding, folks. But all in all, a great clutch being made from Sammy's end, which means that it's down to 8-4. And all Orgless have to do is to win their eco round so that they can continue winning most of their rounds. And as we take a look at the scoreboard itself, 11 kills for both Badman and Tricky, 10 kills for Easy. And at that last round, Fox had lockdown, but since it was a 1v1 gunfight that he had to contest, he was way out in the open, right? He didn't have any much cover. You could say he was more of like in an off angle, in which Sammy had no problems using all those, depleting all those kunai knives on that one particular spot. So all it needs is just 2 kunai knives to get the confirmation of the kill, and Sammy did exactly that. A clutch, and a necessary one at that too. 1v3 from Sammy. It was a desperate attempt, and that desperation will at least give them some hope on map number 2 itself. Let's keep that in mind that Orgless Esports are doing what they can on attack. They won only 4 attack rounds, which means they have to do the same thing by winning 4 defensive rounds. Now, knowing about this, knowing that you have KG on board on the side of attack, the main problem has to be the lockdown, right? It always depends on Sova's positioning. Now, whenever you see Sova on Ascent, you would always expect to see him have an Odin, hold in towards B, and when you have the information from either the drones or the drats, you can just wall bang the instant. But what if at that moment you realize that the execute's not on B? Say, for an example, if Sova is at B and the execute is happening on A with the lockdown being present, then the timing itself would be even much more tougher for Sova to destroy that lockdown itself, because that is the only main counter that Fox aka KJ should worry about. So hopefully if we talk about the ult recoveries, you could say that Hika, no, and actually not Hika, Badman didn't. Did we get to see Cosmic Divide from Badman's end? I don't think we did.
I don't think so, we did. I don't think we saw either the null command or the lockdown or the cosmic divide.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of it, and still Metal were able to put up 8 rounds, so that's impressive. With almost, minimal use of the ultimates. Tricky found one as he's going straight in for the market kill. Well done from him to get an early advantage, even though they lost a player. As now Hevan has to try and secure this round. Finds one, finds one more thanks to Hika coming in. Hika finds 3 as he finds the perfect timing to just walk in from his spawn and get in towards the stairs position and finds 3 players of their opponents with their backs turned.
And Hika was on it. That opening was so good because everyone was focused on the boathouse, right? Like all 3 players from the attacker's side, especially from Metal's end, they were so hell-bent on getting control on boathouse, and then they immediately realized, wait, no one is watching on the B side. No, like we don't have control on the boat side because everyone is at the boathouse itself. And that opening from Kappa, sorry, not Kappa, apologies, Hika is just a job well done for him. 14 kills from him, which means that in the second round, they've succeeded in their pistol round, which means they'll have some Spectres in their hand. What's even more difficult from Metal's end is the ultimate from the side of Trixie, right?
Yeah.
Tricky has 3 ult orbs, which means he would need more than 4 kills. Or you can just get those 2 orbs and see whether if he could succeed. But most of the time, you'd always see Jet on Ecorons bring in the Blade Storms, because that's exactly where most of the value would come in. But the main thing about Orgless's end is that since they've won their pistol round, their main focus has to be on winning the next round as well, so that they can proceed towards bonus. So
Yep.
whether if they lose the next round or not, they'll still have some they'll still have some economy back, so that they can have some Vandals and Phantoms in the near future. So it's more of like an investment if they win both the eco rounds as well as the second round too. But at this point, if Metal Esports, currently the one who just secured map number 1, and like you said on the first qualifiers, they were also in the same situation, right?
Yep.
They were in the same situation where they won map 1. Next thing you know, on map number 2, some problem happened towards them, and they've lost a spot on the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Will this be a same repeat on the second qualifiers with Orgless out of nowhere making an impressive play, just like we saw from Hika's end? Maybe. Who knows? It can happen.
Well, we're gonna have to find out. Hika has been on the upper end of things throughout the entire series. He was finding so much value, except for the last match, I think, where he didn't really have everything working towards his favor. In the previous best of 3 is what I'm talking about, the quarterfinals. But here, he's up against Metal, and he's got 14 frags, leading the server at the moment. And he's doing some pretty good work. In the previous round, he found 3. And Hika actually has just individually grown so much, I believe, in the last couple of seconds. No, forgive me, in the last couple of months, just seconds. That he absolutely has been carrying this squad with every bit of his power to get them somewhere. And while they might or might not qualify here, let's just say they don't, right? They still have the wild card possibility, because they technically are going to be finishing in the 3rd and 4th position. And in that 3rd and 4th position, if you finish, it allows you to qualify for the wild cards, where you'll be facing off another set of teams who finish 3rd and 4th, and hopefully looking if you can get yourselves into the group stages.
All teams always have their eyes on that group stage, and the competition is fierce, especially on this match as well. Now the only main problem is just that Orgless, every time they start to make a play, there's always a counters that would always present on Metal's end. Suppression, information. They know that one of the players is playing so close. Ivan, he even has a lot of protection from Zoid's end, and that crossfire will give them the entire clearance in towards the B side. And this is looking even much more tougher for Metal's end. Easy.
Yeah,
It's just tough, man.
yeah, indeed.
30 seconds left.
Easy just has to look around for maybe a free kill, which is not going to come his way. A flawless 8 and 6 for the side of Orgless as they get closer on to Metal. But now Metal have their full buy round coming in. How far will this go is the question. Their bonus, they have a couple of Spectres to work with, and I believe that they can make it work. But Metal have been very meticulous with the way that they're playing. They've been very strategic. They know how to approach this team of Orgless. And look at that stack towards A. They're actually going for a B fake, it seems, the side of Metal, as a spike is dropped towards A. And this push could actually make that go away. The recon. Godvex, he spots out 3, gets away right now. That's the call. Run. Run as fast as you goddamn can, as fast as those legs can carry you, and go towards B. Mid's already been breached. It's only the one-man Zoid who's gonna be pressured off of his angle, and that's the B side completely open.
Yeah, this is exactly what Metal needs, an entire side clearance on B. Kind of felt like it's a gift that is just given out from the opposition team itself. Just need to be careful on the man count as well. Ivan, Spectre, headshot. Post plant at the hands of Metal Esports. They found the opening. Now they just have to hold their ground. Prowler will come in from the side of Fade as well. Now there's a lot of pressure. Pop Flash will succeed for Ivan to gain control and remove Fox out of the equation. It means that they're still close. They don't have the side control just yet, and Ivan is just doing as best as he can to control the situation. And Easy is just not making it look easy on the opposition's end. Pop Flash once again. Reloads the Spectre, has all the time he needs. One simple peek is more than enough to claim at least Easy or Ivan's end, and it will be Easy. Will win that gunfight. Vandal versus Spectre, and in the end, we will see Easy win out with the Spectre instead. 9 to 6. This is the win that they need so bad. They've lost both eco round as well as this was the bonus round, and they were this close of being eliminated out. But once they got to know the info from that jump peak, they immediately went all in towards that B side. And that information was more than enough to get the win that they need. Interesting enough, we see Metal Esports bring in the Guardians, which means that they'll have a lot of long angles that the attacker needs to be careful of.
Get out of my way!
Defense does have a better weaponry at the moment because every single person from Metal had died even though they won the round. Their economy is in shambles. They've got 2 Guardians, 2 Vandals to play with, and Tricky just on his knives and a frenzy. And Sami is holding Big Bad Operator, and towards mid he's got his entire kingdom secured. Metal are ready to move in towards A, it seems, and they've got one ultimate that they can potentially use if Easy goes in for that, orb pick towards A main. Knife come out, and towards A they go. Fox holding down towards mid, and Sami's expecting this. He knew exactly what's happening, and Hika sprays down 2 through the smoke. Metal have been shut down instantly, and there's no way they're getting away from this run. It is going to be 9 and 7. It is going to be a little bit prolonged. And now, Godvexy left to do it all alone. Loses his life to Hika yet again. And that is going to be the 7th for the side of Orgless as they are getting closer and closer. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we should be having much more cleaner showing of Orgless as they throw the side of Metal yet again on an eco. And looking to close down the deficit, which was 4 earlier, to now 1.
Yeah, this is huge. This is huge from Orgless end. 3 wins on the second half. They recovered the previous round. Both of the teams have null command. Jumping peak once again to see whether if there's an opera or not. He will confirm his suspicions. Now they just have to be careful. But does he know Trixie's location? Okay. Sammy just gets a kill out of nowhere. And an important one of that too. That was Tricky gone. And with it, it's just even more tough for them to deal with that. Okay. A headshot from the Guardian. Hika goes out. This is even Stevens back again. 9-7. Not a single ult has been popped out just yet. Both of those null commands have been opened up. They're still hoping to find an opening, and that is towards the mid side. They still need to be careful of the chamber trap. And once that's done, the heavy aggressiveness that they will show towards the site on B will be tougher for Orgless to defend.
Oh, Hevan activates his null command in the round where he thinks that they will be using a lot of utility. And for good measure, actually, because it is Badman who's probably going to cause them the most trouble. But there's 20 seconds left. Where exactly are they planning to go? Badman's been left alone towards mid as they're actually approaching B. And B is heavily guarded by both Hevan as well as Zoid. Zoid is the one who's going to be making the first contact. No, it's going to be Hevan. Gets one. Make that two for Zoid as Fox is only going to get a trade. Badman's not going to be working his Guardian as number 8 comes up for the side of Orgless. And now, just the 1 round differential between the two. And Orgless have made good headway here in this comeback from the first half, ending 8-4. Allowed medal, only 1 round, which is their buy round. And even in that round, they were able to completely die down their economy. And that has taken a little bit of a domino effect, as right now even medal are not in the best states in terms of money. Towards A seems like to be a full force commitment. They're running straight in. Out comes the null command. A high flash from Easy. And Kusif is just going to hold on towards A shot, making sure with his teammates that nobody's coming in from there. The full force A commitment will get them a plant. But will it also give them kill? No, it's not going to. Fox. Oh, brilliant ultimate to keep in hand. And what a time as well. 12 seconds will be wasted now. Hevan might have found Easy, but this round is definitely not going to be easy for the side of the defense. Out goes Tricky, finds one. Hika will trade Batman off on the other way, but 3 ultimates being committed here just to make sure that they're able to get onto double digits.
Already,
Enemy remaining.
it already looks like a difficult situation though from Orgless's end. That lockdown was a huge pain in the back for them, and now Hika needs to find another way. And that, of course, will not happen. Fox with the final frag. 10-0. Medal Esports are slowly cleaning back up. And the same thing can be said to Orgless too. And at this point in the previous round, Hika would have been like, I wish I would have been patient, at least for more than 5 to 10 seconds. I could have just waited out for the lockdown to commence.
Yeah, that
Not a
actually
single
is
lockdown,
true.
yeah. Not a single lockdown was placed, yeah.
Yeah, the lockdown was used, and Hika kind of went for the early Hunter's Fury to try and maybe not just get some damage, but to cause chaos so that his teammates who are on Heaven could maybe find somebody off position. But that was not going to be the case. It came a little early, and the opponents were ready because they were throwing in so much utility towards Heaven. With the utility that Badman had set up, the smoke coming up, Tricky getting up close. There was no way that they could have taken that fight from Heaven. And because Hika put down that Hunter's Fury, we were all ready to see that lockdown come through, and it was a round victory lockdown. But Baba, in between all of this, we do have to see that they committed 3 ultimates for just 1 round, and that's a lot of utility using, because now we can see that the lockdown, the ultimate that is from Easy, which is a null command, as well as a Nightfall, are very far away. Batman is the only one who's got something of use, and Tricky is still halfway across from his blades as well. So the Cosmic Divide, while it is, a pretty good ultimate, it's very, let's say it's 50-50, because if your opponents find a good timing to use it against you, popping out of that Cosmic Divide, find a kill and run away, you're going to be in big trouble. And now with no ultimates available for the initiators, the side of Metal have to play this a little bit more carefully.
So many ults was expended in that previous round. The only thing that they have is Cosmic Divide. Still trying to block lines of sight from the Cubby side to ensure that the off shot would happen. Hyvan and Zoid, they tried to make an attempt to be a bit quite aggressive from the B lobby. Unfortunately, it ended up being at the hands of Metal. Although the refrag would come in back again, Fox is downed, which means that most of the turret would not work out. Sammy is gonna miss that shot. That was an important one, but instead that will put Tricky on 8 HP. Both of the Jet are at a very low HP, and there's no denial for them to go through. The gunfight needs to happen. Here comes Cosmic Divide, and entire Heavens has been looked after, and now Metal Esports have got this under control once again. 1v3 clutch situation. Can it happen for Zoid? Easy. Does he know information on Easy's whereabouts? Actually, Zoid's whereabouts. Yes, he does. 11 to 8. Headshot to conclude it, which means that they are 2 rounds away of securing this match and having the spot on the group stages. And if I have to include on that previous round where we saw that execute with 3 ultimates committed, when they executed on the A side, none of those 3 ults were of value except the lockdown, right? We even saw the null command, which is being used from KO's end. Granted, it went in all the way towards from the mid side. It did covered up towards mid cubby, but half of the players on the side of Orgless were holding down from Link, bottom, even more so on Catwalk. So, although it didn't work out of much value, in the end, it did work out well from Cosmic Divide, because that worked out well in the previous round.
Yeah, now Tricky, he's got a good positioning, but what he doesn't know is that there's players picking him out, but he's still ready for it. Kusif will take down Easy on the other side though, as Metal are having an A split approach, and Kusif is just absolutely shutting them down towards A shot. A one-way coming through to stop Fox in his tracks, but he'll get away unscathed. Has a spike in his hands, but his teammates are dying. And Fox is being chased as well. 11 and 9 looking inevitable, as Godvex is the only one left. He's in a 1v3. The spike far, far away from him. And for all he knows, there's a triple man peek coming towards him and towards a shot. Zoid is around half HP, so Godvexy could get an easy kill onto him, make it a 1v2. And then, well, by the time I could say anything, Zoid shots him down. It is the side of Orgless to get another round. And mind you, Baba, this is kind of what happened in the previous time Metal were in Qualifier 1. They were up 11 and 7, and Lethal made a comeback from that to win the map 13-11. So, I don't know if history wants to repeat itself, but Metal quite sure need this map point very desperately right now.
Yeah, it feels like they're having a flashback once again on the first qualifiers, huh? 11 to 9, back again. They're at the same similar situation, but this time they have a chance. This time the aggressiveness peaks that the defenses have been doing might cost them the win for Metal Esports. Oh boy, this is huge. Fox gets to even more so. They've got under control on the site. They even have information on the rest of the agents' whereabouts. This is looking dicey at the hands of Orgless. Sammy, can he win it? No, it does not. Guardian, one tap, headshot. And in the end, it's easy as well to take out that final kill. 12 to 9 match point. You could say that flashback might haunt them for a round or two, but this time it's theirs. They want to make sure that they want to have a spot on the group stage, and they will do whatever it takes to defeat the enemy. Yep. The same thing can be said to Orgless too.
Yeah, but it looks like it might just be dead end cause here, because the side of Orgless, they are going to be playing 2 judges on 2 players. Zoid and Sami going to be utilizing those weapons, as everybody on Metal is ready for this. Match point, like you said, series point, qualification point. This is all where it is for Metal Esports. They win this, they're in that prestigious top 8. They don't, gonna be troublesome for them yet again.
That's a good fragment though, but it's a bit too far out of reach. Null command will commence, which means that the entire mid control will be hands in the defenders. Medal, Tricky, looking way too good. But is it more than enough? Do they know Easy's whereabouts? This is a good positioning. Judgment Day is near for Sammy. He gets to take out one with the judge. There's still a chance for Orgless to hold their ground. The only problem is that they will be on post plant. This is not looking too good. Sammy will upgrade himself from the Vandal, so does Zoid. There's a lot of tensions being rising around 1v2, and that will conclude at the hands of Orgless. They will still stay alive. And looks like those two judges were more than enough to get them the win though, huh? That judge from Sammy, it had to be done.
Yeah, I really thought he wasn't going to check that angle, but he did. Good awareness from him to make sure that angle is cleared off. Because if Easy would have gotten that kill, that would have been game over right there. 12 and 10, they survive for another, and Medal are slowly losing their economy. They really need to shut this out right now. They cannot afford to let this go to the last round. If they let this round go away from them, overtime seems almost imminent.
Force by.
Because, yep, they have forced it in. They've got a Spectre to play with, and that shows the desperation of this team right now. The money not at all looking good. The knife wields a little bit of utility usage, but look at where Sami is. Oh boy, he's got Kusif along with him as well. This B push is being expected, and is being expected heavy now. They just need Sami to come in as soon as possible with Kusif, so that they can get some very good pinch moments coming in. And it is the ultimate from Heaven that was possibly going to give them a, but Zoid finds 3! He finds 3 and he might have just done enough for his team. Tricky's down to 10 HP. And now, it's a 2v3. Can they hold on to this? Orgless have probably done enough. Zoid might have just saved the entire game for them, as Tricky will go around to Sami, and now it's left to Badman. Just a one-man standing. 1v3, 1v2, 1v1! Badman, the hero for his team, playing out of his mind. Will he win this one? They're playing Ring Around the Roses, and Badman shuts it out! Ladies and gentlemen, a 1v3 clutch for them to get it all done. A 1v3 clutch for Medal to secure the spots on to the group stages. What a win from this team. What a way to finish it. I really thought once that 1v3 came down, Badman was done for. There was so much going against him. He was blinded for a couple of seconds before he took that fight towards the Omen. Everybody just got caught off guard. And what a play from this guy, Badman. Stepped up at the most opportunistic time, and the IGL gets them through.
Yeah, they had to win it out. It was a force buy. Imagine if they lost. Imagine if they lost that. That would have been devastating from Medal's end. That clutch was necessary to conclude the win on map number 2, and they did it. And they did it evidently. So congratulations for Medal Esports. They will finally secure a spot into the group stages. Congratulations to them. Indeed. And despite the opposition's team, Orgless Esports, I got to give appreciation to that. They did so much work. Sammy was on point. Even more so, Hika was doing a lot of damage towards the economy rounds. The pistol round was so unique on the attacker's end. They did give them their best shot. The second map itself on Ascent was a huge, tough, challenging. Man, did they give it their all? 23 kills from Tricky, 20 kills from Hika. And it always came down to that information game and that misdirection. There were some certain moments where they had to utilize an entire, they had to utilize their entire abilities from one particular side itself.
Yep.
It was just difficult, and there were certain moments where you'd go, like, why didn't they check their corners? And that specific moment that we see from Badman himself, 4 kills just by playing it patiently, letting all 3 players arrive, let them know that no one is actually holding on to. That play that Badman did, not just one, but a 1v3 clutch in the end, secured them a spot, and we all know who that MVP round is. It's Badman. So even with the controller dealing a lot of damage, clearly shows that this team has got what it takes, and they deserve to be on the group stages.
Indeed, they most certainly do. Individual brilliance, team tactics, strategies, executes of the of the highest order, top-notch plays over here from the side of Metal Esports as they deservedly go through to the group stages, ladies and gentlemen. Our third team after the first two that were joined after Lethal and Revenant. This is our third team to make it through, and we will be deciding our final team from this qualifier to go in to the group stage later on. But for now, Orgless, they might be out of the qualifier, but they're not out of the game just yet, Baba. They've got the wild cards starting tomorrow, and they've got one more chance to try and make it to the group stages. One more chance for themselves to see whether or not they can get into that prestigious, group stage, make it so that they try their level best and hopefully are able to qualify for the group stages and give it a shot to get to the TEC LAN, to the arena.
Yep.
The biggest esports festival.
It will be huge, folks. That is for sure. And I know that everyone is excited for this LAN event. Let's take a look at the MVP board itself. Hikka with a total of 20 kills at the hands of Orgless Esports. They did a lot of work, but in the end, we all know what exactly happened. It was Badman, but unfortunately, on the MVP's end, it was Tricky, who was on point with those op shots. How can I even forget about that flick from that catwalk? Taking out Sami out of nowhere really made me like, what just happened? Like, is that flick? Like, when I saw that shot, I was like, wow, that was absolutely amazing coming from his end. 23 kills from Tricky. And my God, that is the end. Those are two maps done and dusted. But just like Universe said, Orgless has still one more chance. And I hope that one chance would at least give them some chance to see whether if they can get a spot on the group stages or not. And even more so, that's only one spot, right, Universe? Out of all the second and third place that we have on first qualifiers and second qualifiers, only one will have the ticket.
I believe
And
so.
that itself is mind-blowing. Like, you don't even know who will get it, right?
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 teams competing. Only one will go through. It's going to be just a straight-up elimination in the wildcards. But, ladies and gentlemen, for now, Orgless are going to have to keep their heads up. Don't let this loss get to you because you have another chance. Whereas Metal Esports, deservedly a moment of celebration, a day of celebration, yes, but there's still a lot more work to be done. A huge prize pool of 15 lakhs, out of which they can possibly take away 7.5, is up for grabs, but that is only and only if they are able to make it to the TEC Arena. For which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, they have to play and qualify and get there, but you don't have to. All you need to do, get yourself some tickets. The registration link is down below in the description. It's also there on our websites. Go ahead and check it out. Get yourself some tickets and get yourselves to Bangalore. There's going to be a huge bonanza, gaming bonanza here in Bangalore at the Manfo Convention Center. And we'll see you all there. I would personally love for as many people as possible to witness this amazing event, which is not just going to be about this grand final challenger series of the Valorant event that we have. There's a lot more going on in the background as well. We're gonna have some big people coming in. We're gonna have some VIPs, some influencers, people that you and we all love. And of course, some big names, like I've always said before, and you guys don't know, some big names that you would never expect to show up at an event like this are going to be there. And if you want me to reveal those names, go ahead, give me 10,000 likes in the next stream of this one. 10,000 likes, and you will find out one name of one of the people that you never thought would be appearing in an event like this will be showing up. But until the event does come up, ladies and gentlemen, there's still action. The group stages will begin very shortly. But before the group stages, there's the wildcards coming. And before the wildcards, one last game to go. Tonight at 8:30, be the final decider game of who is going to be going through straight to the group stages. But for that one, it's going to be Baba and CCV taking you through. I'm going to be tapping out. And for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead out as well. Go ahead and check out AMD Ryzen as well as Windows 11 for the best combo, the operating system as well as the processor. Put them together, you might become a pro player yourself. You don't know, just go ahead and try it. And of course, Crucial, who give you the best storage out there with the fastest booting times for your PC. Check all of this out while take a little break. We've got about an hour or so until the match starts for the next best of 3. Until then, happy gaming. Go ahead and grind some rank, maybe 1 or 2 games, eat something, and we'll be back with the Challenger Series.
From the legends of memory and storage, Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products, precision engineered for speed and stability. Crucial Ballistics.
Hey, we can run away. You say you want to. You wanna go back, wanna go back. You wanna go back to a place where
legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.